Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing?
Great.
Good.
Good.
We're doing good.
Good. Great. Hopefully,
Great.
everybody had a great week.
Yes.
Great. It's Friday night, so the weekend is here. So whether your week was good or bad, you're gonna have the weekend to reset for next week. Appreciate everybody's time. We are starting off here shortly, and today we will be discussing cybersecurity resumes, what is going to get you your 6 figures. So there's a lot for us to go through. We wouldn't be able to go through everything, so we will do what we can do tonight, and then next week we will continue still on job placement with Cyber Chat. So before we begin, make sure we have this on record. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome to Eretmis Cyber Chat. I appreciate everybody's time. Like I always say, it's Friday night. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here with us to share the knowledge and spread the love. I appreciate everybody's time once again, and we appreciate you joining us all the time to make this a very informative discussion. We are discussing resumes, cybersecurity resumes, and if you are new to Eretmis Academy, you are welcome to the family. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you are always welcome. It's totally free. We have a big community. We open it up, and all questions will be answered, and we'll make sure that, like we always do, the hour or so you are spending with us is not going to be wasted. Because we know your time is valuable, ours is valuable too. So we try to make sure that you get the best out of this, and then also you always go away from Cyber Chat with something that you can add to your toolbox. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm going to be your instructor or facilitator for this chat. As usual, I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy and the CEO of Eretmis Inc., QSA. PCI QSA / cybersecurity consulting firm based in New York, and the school is also based in New York, but everything we do for the school is done remotely. And I'm also a former professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC, Central Texas College. So tonight we are going to begin with cyber news, and then we will jump into the 6-figure resume formula. Right, so we wouldn't be able to touch on. We actually going to do hands-on, right? How to actually make the resume, on how to pick some of the keywords and stuff. But tonight we are going to discuss briefly the different types and which one is going to be the best option for folks who are already in IT trying to switch into cybersecurity. For folks who are coming from it, like a totally different industry trying to switch into cybersecurity. So regardless of where you are coming from, there is something for everybody when it comes to how to present yourself to your potential employer, for them to see, and also for them to have that assurance that you are the right guy or girl for the job. So our July 4th sale is still going on. It ends on the 17th. So I think we have 3 days to go. So July 4 is the promo code. If you go to our website, eretmisacademy.com, any of our courses, if you want to enroll in any of those, you can use the promo code. And for cyber news, we are starting, unlike other news that mostly borders on breach or companies getting hacked. Well, tonight we are going to answer a question, and I'm going to take maybe 3 or 4 inputs from everyone. So there's an article written by this guy here. Don't really know his name, but he was in the news, and he was speaking to the fact that trains can be hacked, or can they, right? And if they are hacked, what are some of the consequences of a train being hacked? right? And I'm going to open the floor, maybe 2 or 3 people. If you want to partake in this, you can raise your virtual hand and you can argue for why trains can be hacked or why trains cannot be hacked, right? And if they are hacked, what are the consequences of that? Then also, what can we do if trains can be hacked? What can we do to prevent that? Or what are some of the countermeasures that we can put in place to make sure we are not exposing ourselves in that way? So if somebody wants to give it a shot, this is kind of the argument that was going on within the cyberspace this week. So there's no right or wrong answer to this. If you want to give it a shot. Oh, is the sound okay? I think Jamoro is having an issue with his sound. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So who wants to give it a shot? Can trains be hacked? Okay, go ahead. So like if you want to answer this, you can raise your virtual hand. I think there are some folks unmuted here. Let me just mute them. Well, I think there's somebody who might have a take on this. If let me just go through the list. I saw someone on here who might have a take on this. Charles, go ahead.
Hi everyone. So as a topic you said, I believe this new trains can be hacked. You know, like the old trains we have, it's difficult for you to hack it. And you know, the only time I believe you can hack a train, this old trains we have, is when you go into the train and hijack the train. But you see these new trains, this magnetic that they use remote to to drive. It could be hacked, but I don't know how it could be hacked. But I believe if there's a compromise somehow, somewhere, someone in the company or in the organization, let's say for example, this NJ or NY Transit, it's someone compromises and gave out an information to an hacker, he could do it, and he could hijack a whole train, and ask for ransom. And it could be moving around New York, going around, you know. So I just believe it could be hacked if it's being compromised through inside person.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Charles. Rainey, sorry if I got your name wrong, but hopefully that is the right. Go ahead.
Nope, you're right. I think the trains can be hacked because of the internal controls. There are sometimes when you look at what or how they are created, and some of the people that may be working in the, I guess I could say in the organization, they may be able to hack as well. So I really think that it's possible. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Rainey.
You're welcome.
Rajesh, if I go.
Hey. Yeah, definitely. I feel anything currently that has a digital platform or digital forms of communicating between systems have the opportunity to be hacked in one way or another, whether it's through a malware or a spyware form of a virus. The capabilities are there. It's not that hard. You know, anybody that could open up either a phishing letter that comes to the email, or anybody that has the if the infrastructure is not properly defended, I feel a hacker with the proper knowledge can easily go within the system and simply hack the system to do whatever it needs to do.
All right. Thank you. Great points. Everybody is making a great point. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I worked in the engineering department for Union Pacific Railroad for 5 years. And at that time, back in the late 80s, there were 3 major railroads in the country: the Burlington Northern, the Norfolk and Southern, and of course us, the UP system. We had about 28,000 miles of tracks, okay? Around 1987, 88, the Burlington Northern was already running conductorless trains. Union Pacific, we started running trains that didn't have a conductor. So what they're doing, guys, they'll put a camera in a locomotive, okay? And they'll usually have a camera attached in the caboose, and they may have 1 or 2 crew members there. Some trains nowadays are run completely remotely, and it's a wireless network. And as we all know, wireless networks are real susceptible to being intercepted or being hacked with somebody that's got a receiver. And so, yes, trains is part of the vital infrastructure of almost every industry in every country in the world right now that has railroads. And so, yeah, that could be very lucrative for any criminal-minded person who might want to redirect a train, because a lot of the switches are remote. Okay, so you can completely remotely redirect or reroute a locomotive to the destination that you wanted to go to. And particularly in these little rural areas, I'm in a lot of rural areas in Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois. And, you know, those late night trains that are running through these small towns, they don't have a conductor. You know, they're all ran with a camera and they're ran remotely. So yes, they can be absolutely hacked. And it can be lucrative, because people don't understand, railroads are rich. I'm talking very rich. You know, they're probably one of the richest industries in this country. So we have our own retirement system, the whole 9 yards. So I'll let somebody else jump in, but yes, they can be hacked.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your insight. Olan Rewaju.
Yeah,
I think
good evening,
right.
everyone.
Yeah, good evening, Olan.
Yeah, I believe the rail can be hacked so long it has to do with people, process, and technology. And I believe if anything that has to do with these 3 components, people can always compromise. Technology can be hacked, and the process, if it's not followed adequately, then it can also be a source of vulnerability that it can be acted upon. So it's possible it can be hacked.
Thank you for your insight. Awini. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The question is there technology being used? Are we using GPS? Are we using Wi-Fi? Are we using digital communication systems? Are we using computer-based interlocking systems? Are we using signals? Are we using switches on the trains or on the platforms? If it is yes, then the system can be hacked. And any system at all that uses any of these things, which is being manipulated by human beings at any particular point in time at all, can be hacked. And we always say that no system is risk-free. So there are human beings. Sometimes the human beings within the organization will provide the information to the hackers. The hackers will study the system and know the weakness within the systems. If there are firewalls, they will attempt to break through. If there are encryptions, they will try to understand it. If there are intrusion detecting system, they will try to see how they can overpass it. And sometimes they would like to even wipe the logs within internal, that's in terms of internal vulnerabilities, where they would like to even wipe the logs within the system to ensure that they can take a whole city into a ransom. So yes, so far as there's no system which is completely immune from hacking, there is continuous attempts by hackers to hack the system and then take advantage of it. So authorities must be careful and then put in place cybersecurity measures for necessary actions in case they attempt, they will be able to save the system. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Also, Dr. Du,
Go ahead.
Dr. If you'll permit me just another second. The biggest threat that, I know we're all thinking it and nobody mentioned it so far, is a disgruntled employee, like a conductor who got laid off, who had some other issues that didn't sit well with him. They know the system, they understand the type of software. They know the whole line, the route that the train is going to take. They can easily cough up a train that they know is loaded with valuables. So yes, that's the biggest threat is disgruntled employee.
Oh, insider threats is one of, yes. So I appreciate everybody's inputs. Very interesting conversation. But there have been instances where the railroad industry has experienced a lot of data breaches. And like Mr. Williams said, it's a really big industry with a lot of money, right, to be made. So if you just Google around or you just look for railroad hacks, there's a handful, right? So they are not immune from the hacking that is being spread around. But what can they do to put in place layers of defense, right? Or practice defense in depth to put in layers and layers and layers of defense. That way they don't easily fall for, simple attacks and simple hacks, right? So everybody, everything that everybody said is right. And like I always say, the more smart we get, the more vulnerable we become, right? So the more we are having smart everything, smartphone, smart TV, smart scale, smart everything, because we are only increasing our attack surface. Because back in the day when we just used to use the very simple phone with no special operating system on it, with no apps that could be downloaded, it was just, you just make your call and then that's it, right? The best case scenario, you could put some nice ringtone, but even that, you have to type it and probably like get the key numbers and use that to type to get. And like that was about it. Now with such a phone, hacking into it is almost impossible, right? But now with a smartphone, you have so many apps. Most of these apps might be vulnerable. So attackers can easily, hack into those apps and then eventually get onto your phone, onto your scale, onto your TV, and once they get on any of these are also all connected to your wireless network that you might have at home, at work, anywhere. And, so now it's even easier for hackers. They don't have to be as sophisticated as, in the past. You can have script kiddies, hackers who are just beginning. They don't even know what they are doing for 90% of the time. Even, they can pull off some of the biggest hacks and attacks, because now, our attack surface is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes even easier and easier for attackers to easily hack into any systems that we are using. So trains can most definitely be hacked now, because all trains, like Mr. Williams was talking about, they started upgrading or trying to, switch to operating trains remotely. It's been a while now. So they are gradually moved, to the point where even if, let's say, the train itself could not be hacked, the systems that are being used to control the trains, right? They are not in the train, they are outside in the offices and stuff. Those can be hacked because they are using computers. So if the computers are hacked, they can, like whoever has control over those computers can easily derail these trains or even, stop them completely, right? And, they can still cause a lot of headache and a lot of money that will be lost to these companies, right? So good point made by everybody. There's an interesting conversation that, we can keep going on and on, but at least this is to start a conversation, so you can research over this over the weekend and look at some of the hacks or like some of the successful hacks that have gone on in the real industry, and also what happened. Most importantly, most often, to really school yourself in the industry or to become a lifelong learner, you have to know some of these, right? Do some case studies. So what happened? What could have been done to prevent it? How was the attackers been able to pull off this form of attack, right? So this is just to start the conversation. So let's jump into what we are doing tonight. So tonight we are looking at cybersecurity resumes, right? We have different folks, or we have like different groups of people who are looking to get into cybersecurity, right? We have folks who are already in cybersecurity trying to get into the next big level within the space or rise up in the hierarchy. Folks who are coming from totally no cybersecurity background, no IT background. Folks who are already in IT who want to switch into cybersecurity or a specialized area in cybersecurity, right? How do you go about building your resume? And for everybody, you should know that first impression, there is no second chance to first impression, right? So, and if you are applying for a job like everybody else, unless of course, even if maybe somebody gave you a recommendation and you are supposed to just submit your resume to whoever the contact is, if you submit a really bad resume, I don't think they are going to follow up with you, right? Because they are not under any obligation to pick you. I know of a company, a startup company that is doing really well. Like they are doing really well now. I think like their revenue is in the 80 millions plus. I'm not going to mention their name, but they didn't have anything cybersecurity. This is a software company. Like they develop software, they sell, they have a product that they sell, right? So they didn't have anything cybersecurity. One of their investors, I think, who was about to invest almost $50 million in the company, was the one who asked them this question. So why don't you have, like, do you have any cybersecurity team? And the answer was no. And they were like, well, before I give you my 50 million, you guys should at least have somebody on there who is going to take care of cybersecurity. So they employed one of, not students, but one individual that I used to mentor, right? They employed her to be the cybersecurity person. And then now she was a cybersecurity manager, cybersecurity analyst-ish. And they had to bring somebody who will be at top level, like top management. So they needed a CISO, right? Somebody on those lines, CISO or VP for cybersecurity. And the guy who had the $50 million to invest, he had a friend, or he knew a friend who was working in the cyberspace. So he recommended that person to be selected to be a CISO, right? Now this guy submitted his resume and it wasn't that great, but they kind of still talked to him and he didn't really pull it off. So guess what? Although this investor was about to invest $50 million, they still didn't go with his pick, right? So, and although he was the one who recommended they set up a cybersecurity team, right? They still didn't go with his pick because the guy thought this was going to be, a walk through the park. I was recommended by this, guy who has a lot of money and who is investing in your company. So you have to take me. It doesn't really work that way. So if you're applying for a job, your resume is your first point of contact, or your resume is a representation of you, right? What is going to let you get the interview or not? Most people that might reach out to Eretmis Academy for help, especially those who are just looking for a job, not for training. Their complaint mostly is, I'm not getting any calls. Nobody's calling me, right, for an interview or anything. They'll just send me an email and say they are moving on with somebody else without even talking to me, right? And what I tell them is, you can know your stuff, right? So you can have the knowledge and skill, and you can truly do the job in any capacity, right, in cybersecurity. But that is all good. How is the potential employer, how is the hiring manager going to know you can do the job? They don't know you. They don't know what you know. And, you have to prove yourself to them. And the first, way to prove yourself is by putting it on paper, right? So if they look at it and they are convinced, then they will call you for an interview. And then, you know, based on how the interview goes, they are going to offer you the job, right? So this is the item that is going to get your foot into the door, right? For them to even open their door to you. So it's very important you look at your resume and, you know, you look at it well. And there's a lot of tips and tricks to the trade, how you'll be able to come up with the best resume and how to, you know, go about the whole resume building process. And that is what we are going to be looking at today. So if you want to build a six-figure resume or resume that is going to get you the six-figure job you're looking for in cybersecurity, this, you know, is going to help you do exactly that, right? Now, for even if you are just looking for a job in IT, not necessarily cybersecurity, what we are going to talk about today, if you put it to practice in any industry, it is going to help a lot. So let's jump in. So we are going to start off by looking at some of the few tips that we are going to discuss when it comes to the different category of people who will like to build cybersecurity resume, right? So how do you write a resume if you want to change careers from any other industry into cybersecurity, right? So changing careers, writing a resume is totally different from if you are writing a resume for the same industry that you are in, right? So if you have a resume already for the industry you are in and you want to switch careers, you're not necessarily going to use the same resume. If you do, then that is a very good recipe for disaster and frustration, because you are not going to get the calls you want. And the more calls you get, right, or the more interviews you do, even if you are really bad at interviews, if you do more interviews, at least 2, 3, 4, 5, you are going to see the trend, right? And it's easier for you to land a cybersecurity job that way than if you are not receiving anything, right? So, and we're also going to talk about, you know, some of there are some special tricks, which maybe probably we will mention next week when we actually going to build a resume next week, right? Go through and build it from scratch. And we will discuss more about that. So now with folks who are transferring from other industries into cybersecurity, first impression, right? Like I said, you cannot, there's no second chance to first impression. And you have more work to do than folks who are already in IT or even in cybersecurity who are trying to switch into a different role, right? Because you are coming into a totally new industry. So chances of you right, probably getting lost in what to exactly do in terms of like the resume is almost like 90%, right? So when you are switching careers, what is going to help, especially let's say cybersecurity, focusing on cybersecurity. If you are switching careers into cybersecurity, obviously you are going to go through some form of training, right? Or if you are the type who is very smart and you think you can do it all by yourself, you do self-study and like whatever else that you're going to add to the self-study. Still, when you are building a resume, at least you did some training or you know something within cybersecurity. That is why you want to do the switch. So your technical knowledge in cybersecurity is very key. That is your hard skills. So your technical knowledge and skills is key, right? You cannot switch into any industry without having a technical knowledge in terms of knowledge and skill in that industry. So, and also, so that is one part. Now, you know that you've not been doing this for years, right? And probably you have 0 to maybe probably almost 0 working experience in the field, right? And we will talk about experience when it comes to building your resume as well. So you have 0 experience, right? So you might probably get stuck on exactly what to put on there, right? What do you really put on there if you've not actually worked in the industry, right? So you can put a bunch of stuff that you don't know or have no idea what they are, or just copy from somebody and put it on there. But guess what? During interviews, if you get somebody who is very slick, right, they might even decide not to ask you anything from the job description, but they'll just ask you everything from your own resume. And the last thing you want to do is to put stuff on your resume that you don't know. That will make you look like a moron, right? So because you brought the resume, and I'm asking you questions about it, and you have no clue what they are. So how do you go about, towing that fine line? So for everybody switching careers into cybersecurity, you have what we call transferable skills. So you have skills already that you've accumulated over the years in whatever industry that you are coming from, right? So in a resume for anybody who is switching careers, your transferable skills will have to, will play almost 40% of what you put on your resume, right? Now, the transferable skills, those are mainly your soft skills, right? But how do you really word your soft skills? So let's say you were a nurse, right? You used to be a nurse manager or something on those lines. You used to manage people, you used to lead, right? You were a leader in a manager/leader. And as a nurse, you used to talk to a lot of people, patients, your family. So you have a really good interpersonal skills, communication skills. Now, how do you bring that to life without telling the cybersecurity hiring manager you are talking to that, all your experience is from nursing. So everything examples you are giving is from nursing, right? Is the skills and knowledge they are looking for in terms of soft skills, not necessarily where you got it from, right? That is not to say to also, say or lie that you've never worked in nursing, because you don't want them to know that during interviews or when you are preparing your resume, right? Things that you put on there, even soft skills, there is a trick to how you'll be able to put it on there to actually make you look good, right? And make it relevant to the job you're applying to, right? So transferable skills play a lot of, will help you shine, or that is not also to say we are minimizing the technical skills and knowledge that you need from cybersecurity, right? But a combination of both is going to make you look good. So your non-working experience, you can that is sort of a weakness, but you can minimize your weakness and, highlight your strengths. So, and then also knowing the resume type or the template that you are going to use, right? So that is what is going to help you stand out of the crowd, everybody else who's trying to get the same job, right? So let's move on. Now, we talked about almost everything that is on this slide. So we are just going to move on and get straight. There are some really good stuff down the line. So we are going to look at all that as we move on. So this is what I'm talking about, the resume style. Now, if you are switching career, so we didn't talk about folks who are already in IT. If you're already in IT, your work is not as hard as somebody who is coming totally from no IT background or cybersecurity background, right? For you have a lot of IT stuff that you can also highlight, right? And then a lot of soft skills that you can also highlight. So yours, we will say, is not as bad. Not that somebody switching, careers from one industry to another industry is that bad, but there's always that, it will look like an uphill battle if you don't know what you're doing or if you don't get the right guidance, right? So we are going to look at the different styles of resume that is out there and what is going to suit the different categories of folks that we just talked about, right? But our focus, we just talked mainly on folks who are switching careers, because there's a lot of them than folks who are switching from IT, already in IT switching, or already in cybersecurity switching to different roles, right? So let's jump into the different styles of resume that is out there, right? Now, we have three main, but the extra one that is on here is not part of the traditional styles of resume that we have. because it can be a combination of any of these, right? So the three main, we have the chronological, we have the functional, and we have the hybrid, or a combination of chronological and functional, right? Now, which one is going to be the best for somebody who is switching careers, somebody already in that industry trying to switch to a different area like cybersecurity, and somebody who is already in cybersecurity switching to a different role? Now, for the chronological style, you are going to list all your previous job titles with bullet points of your previous job duties, right? And this is least optimal, or if you are changing careers, this is the last resume style that you want to use. All right, before we move on, Rainey has her hand up, so I'll let her go. Please go ahead.
Yes. Question is, how far back, or how long, or I should say years of experience should you put on your resume once you're transitioning to another area that you never did before? Like, I have various skill sets in areas, but nothing in IT. So, but
Okay.
I mean, I've been in the business. I'm 65, so I've been experienced with different industry. So I'm just trying to figure out, they don't want to know 20 years of my experience, or do they?
Okay, great question, Rainy, but we will get to that. So please hang tight. If by the end of the session you think it's not well addressed, just hit me back. We will talk about it. But that is a really good point. You made a very valid point. I mean, how far back should you go? Even if you used to work in IT, and now you're applying for a cybersecurity job, or if you used to work in cybersecurity, how far back should you go, right? That question kind of also move into one area, maybe probably if they have some similarities, you should let me know. So if you are applying for a job, right, that only requires you to have a bachelor's degree, but you have a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a PhD. You put all of them on your resume, or do you just put bachelor's? Well, that is not for us to answer now. We will get to that, right? So, thanks for the question, Rainy. We will get to that. So with chronological, if you are switching careers, that is not going to be the ideal style for you to use, right? And we will look at how it looks like. I mean, just talking about it here, you kind of get it, but it's kind of vague. So, you can't really picture how a chronological resume will look like. So this is how a chronological resume will look like, right? It'll have your name, everything else, like every other resume, and then just your experience. We are going to list them. That way your skills are going to come down here. Activities or things that you've done is also going to come down here. So this is an example of chronological, right? So your job title, the company, what you did, and all that in that order, and then your education and everything else. So this is chronological is mostly ideal for folks who are already in the industry, right? So if you're already in the industry and you are trying to maybe get a different role, it's easy to use this one, and this will work best, right? You are going straight to the point. Now okay, I moved to the functional. Now with functional, it's a bit on the side of career changes, right? Functional begins with your career goals and objectives. And then it also highlights your transferable skills. So skill sets like Rainey was talking about that you are bringing from all the industries that you've worked in, we will help you identify those skill sets, right? And the one that is relevant to the job you're applying to, right? And then your educational, relevant training. So relevant training also play a role in it. And then relevant training, so training courses or education that you've taken in the field that you want to get into, not in your previous field. And then also a summary of, previous jobs that you've done. So if you are switching careers, summary of previous jobs that you've done, right? Your focus, like the example that I was giving, if you're a nurse, your job, if you're a nurse, so before I even get into that, in most companies, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, right? And I know this to be true, in especially like in the military. So if you are in one position, maybe let's say you are the company executive officer, you have like 15 other job titles to your name, right? You are wearing like 15 different hats. You are the hazard officer. You are the armor officer for the company or wherever you are working. There's a whole list of things that you sign for that you don't even remember, right? So, and all those functions you are going to do. So if I did all those functions, example, let me take it out of the military and bring it to, if you're a nurse, you are also maybe like the safety and health person for the hospital, right? You are maybe probably the EO, equal opportunity person for the hospital. You are the nursing manager, so you are managing everybody else and their work schedule, right? You did all that, but they employed you. Your job title was probably like a nurse or senior nurse or whatever nurse title that you had, but you did so many things in addition to that. So if you are now switching to IT or cybersecurity, the job that you're applying to, they, as part of the job description and the skills they need somebody with good interpersonal skills, good communication skills, good written and oral communication skills, and a whole list of other soft skills, right? And all these you have already from your previous job. Now, how do you put that on your resume for it not to sound too nurse-ish, if that makes sense, right? So although you have those skills, but you got it from being a nurse. Now you don't want to put it on there, and then when somebody looks at it, all they see is nurse, right? So if you used to be any other job titles that you had, instead of putting maybe senior nurse on there for your previous job that you did, you can put the other job title on there because you were holding 3 or 4 different job titles. So what is relevant for this job that you're applying to? That is what you are going to focus on. So you put that job title there, the most important things that you did, right? A summary of, so maybe I was in charge of making work schedule for 15 people. I was in charge of a team of 6, right? Instead of saying I was in charge of 6 nurses. I mean, they are nurses, but they are people too. So you can put, so you don't have to make it, when somebody looks at it, it doesn't have to just come off as all you know is nursing, right? Because you are showcasing the soft skills that you are bringing to the table. Maybe you are you are, no BS, you are a very good leader, a very good manager, a very good, interpersonal, person, right? You have really good human relations, but don't let it be overshadowed by the job title or like your previous job and what you did, right? So these are some of the ways that you are able to actually bring out the skills and knowledge they are looking for without contaminating it with maybe a certain job title or a certain name. That way they don't look at you favorably because most people will say don't judge a book by the cover, but everybody does. Everybody judges a book by the cover, right? Then an example, if you see somebody dressed like a policeman and somebody is chasing you, are you not going to run to them and be like, hey, this guy wants to hurt me? I mean, what do you know? Maybe he's dressed for Halloween. I mean, because he's dressed like a policeman, does he look like a policeman? Yes, of course, he's a policeman, right? So we all judge by what we see, first appearance, right? So that is why it is important to make sure you are not giving them or helping them with everybody's biases and prejudice coming into anything. Because if I look at your resume and all that I see is a nursing manager, was in charge of 7 nurses, made the work schedule for 6 doctors, made what you are just speaking about. Everything I see is hospital. This job is for a cybersecurity analyst. you are not going to be working in the hospital. So I don't think you are qualified. Without me taking time to actually make sense out of what you actually did, right? Because you don't, it is not in your play, or the hiring manager, they don't have the time to really put the pieces together for you. So it is up to you to make sure you are putting the pieces together yourself. Make sure they always get the bottom line, right? They always get the bottom line, meaning like, what are you really trying to do across? So let's move on. Now, I think we've talked a little bit extensively about bringing the soft skills out. Now, for functional resume, this is going to be the best option for people switching careers, but there is even something even better. So even if you are not switching careers, you are switching within the industry, right? Like IT folks switching into cybersecurity, this is also going to help, right? But there is something even better, right? And we are going to look at that also here shortly. So this is how a functional resume will look like. So your skills summary, professional accomplishments, it doesn't, so the format kind of should be on these lines, and then also your work history. You can, simply write position, company date, and your education will come down here, right? Now, what is even better than chronological and functional is a combination of both, right? So now you get the best of two worlds, right? So this is even a better option because now you have both that you are combining, so you are not missing anything really. Your transferable skills are going to be, brought to bear. Your previous work experiences and what you've had and your training in the current field you want to go into, all of it is also going to be shown on here. Now, this is how a chronological, a combination or a hybrid is going to look like, right? So most folks, I think, mostly for our students, what we give you is the hybrid, right? So a career summary, and this is also going to target the goals and your ambitions for industry that you want to go into, right? And then you are going to have, so mostly this will be skills instead of just technical, we just make it skills, and you are going to highlight all of it, right? So all these are also skills, outstanding leadership and managerial skills, all that are soft skills. So these are soft skills, this is technical skills, but you can combine them together, right? So this is going to be your skills, and then your professional experience, where you used to work. And also if you've done like internships or the current industry that you want to go into, right? If you've done internships with any companies, you can put them on here. And then also in cybersecurity, so one thing that I also want to stress on, most folks who are not even in cybersecurity now, some of the things you do on your job, they are cybersecurity related, like they are something we do in cybersecurity. But because you don't know, you think you've not done anything in cybersecurity, right? So let's say somebody is a security guard. They'll tell you I have no IT experience, no cybersecurity experience. I want to switch careers into cybersecurity, but they don't know they have a lot of cybersecurity experience, because guess what? Physical security is part of cybersecurity. So everything you were doing or everything you were taught in physical security, it is part of cybersecurity, right? So you have some cybersecurity coming into cybersecurity. So if we are helping you prepare your resume, we are going to bring all that to light, and we are going to, everything that you've done, we are going to say it in cybersecurity terms, because actually physical security is part of cybersecurity. You might be a nurse, but then at your company, you are probably in charge of making people sign their acceptable use policies and send it to the IT folks. And you're coordinating a lot of things between the IT folks and your, maybe your team, right? That what you're doing is also part of cybersecurity. So mostly when people think of cybersecurity, they are just thinking it's going to be some coding, ethical hacking stuff somewhere, but there's a lot of activities that borders on processes and handling people. And all that is part of cybersecurity. So when it comes to resume, when we do one-on-one, we'll be able to help you identify some of the things that you did in your previous job that was cybersecurity. you know, what you're doing was actually not even cybersecurity related, but it was actually cybersecurity. So this is how the hybrid will look like. Your education will come all the way to the bottom. And then for reference, we are going to discuss that. So sometimes you don't have to put it on it. When they ask for it, you are going to provide it, right? And then obviously your name and, you know, everything else, address and your email and all that's also here as well. Right? Now let's go back one. There was one that we skipped, that is targeted resume. Now targeted resume can be, the style can be hybrid, the style can be chronological or functional. Now, the only change is that instead of making the resume before you apply for the job, right? For when you see the job description and you really think this is a job that I can do, guess what? You are going to tailor, or you are going to pick items and keywords from that job description and put it in your resume, right? So now in this case, you are targeting your resume specifically to that job, right? And that is how you win. Frankly, if you didn't get anything from today's meeting, targeted resumes should be, you know, your take home, because this is what is going to land you your 6-figure cybersecurity job. Right? Now, most folks who are not getting any hits or any results in terms of companies reaching out or getting back to them, they just take the lazy man approach. They got a resume template from somewhere, change some few things on it, their name and, you know, their name, phone number and stuff, and then probably the places they work, they change that, and then that is it. Any job they see is the same resume that they are using to apply for that job. You are not going to get any hits. I mean, that is just the sad truth. You are not going to get any hits. You are going to apply. If your best case scenario, they will send you an email and say they are moving on with somebody else. But mostly those are automated, like most of them are automated emails anyways. If they are not going with you and you applied, they just send it, you know, random, like mass email to everybody who they are not moving on with, right? So sometimes your resume doesn't even get in front of a real human being. It's just going to be, you know, in the pile, and they just pick the ones that they want to pick that a human being will see and reach out, right? And then they move on. Uchuba, I will give you the floor. Go ahead, Uchuba. You are muted.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I heard what you said. Like, if you prepare the resume, like the hybrid or the functional resume, you prepare it and submit. That is there going to be any hints, like a spiel concerning cybersecurity, where you can be able to be hitting the buzzer walls to them? Maybe you can be able to answer, like, basically the points they need you to be able to say in the resume if you're asking the questions.
Can you ask that question again, please? I think
like
I didn't
what
get
you submit, what you submit in your resume should be what you really know and understand. If they want to look on their resume to start asking you question on like, is there any spiel, like cybersecurity spiel, like things you need to know, maybe you need to go through it, that people who have never had the knowledge, who have never been in the cybersecurity world, maybe this is their first time of doing that. Is there any spiel, like, tell me about yourself as a cybersecurity and all those things, like you need to know? What are the projects you have done before in the cyber world or space?
Okay. Good question. So if you are applying to any cybersecurity job, then I'm assuming you have some knowledge and skill in cybersecurity. If you don't, your knowledge and skill in cybersecurity is zero, and you're applying to a cybersecurity job, then I don't really know what you are trying to do, right? It's like me applying it's like me applying to be a nurse, right? So I'm on nurses today, applying to be a nurse, and I've not been to any nursing school. I've not done any nursing courses anywhere. I'm just applying because I got some resume from a friend who is a nurse. Like, what am I really going to speak to during interviews? What projects am I going to speak to? But if I've actually been to a nursing school, when I was done, I did some internship, right? Then I can speak to something, right? So there is no special write-up anywhere for you to read or for you to memorize to be able to speak to things that you've not done. If you've not done it, you've not done it, right? So I don't really, have an answer to things that you've not done that you want to speak to like you've done. Maybe probably Google, but also you have to be rest assured that if you are BSing, they will know. So you can only read and recite stuff that you have no clue about, only for a while, right? During interviews, whoever is doing the interview, they are not limited to any questions that they can ask you. So they can ask you some random question in cybersecurity that is not even part of the job description that is on there. And good luck if your knowledge base is 0, your skill set is 0, and you are trying to, pretend that you know what you're talking about. They are going to make you look stupid. So if you don't want to feel that or look that, then you have to make sure before you apply for a cybersecurity job, you have the knowledge and skill to back anything that you put on your resume. So now for your resume, right? What you put on there, like I was saying, should be something that you can do, not something that you just know, but something that you can do, right? Because I've seen or I've heard, and also I've sat on interviews where, so an example, one of our students went for an interview, and all the questions on the interview was from her resume. They didn't ask anything about the job and what she was going to do. It was just about what she had on her resume. So if she had no clue, she just copied and pasted something from a friend, and she didn't even take the time to go through to look at exactly what is on there, thinking she is going to speak to the job description, and so she's prepared for that, right? And they will throw you off guard and just come up with things on your resume. So if you've not actually done those things, I don't really know what you can say to convince them that you can do the job or you've done what is on there. So Amos, go ahead and we will. So this is the differences between the 3. Now we are going to move ahead into which one is going to be the right choice. And then we'll move into keywords, right? What are some of the keywords or what you actually have to put on your resume? Amos, your hand was up. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Adu. Last week, a friend of mine and I were arguing about resume summaries. I think she said summaries are not necessary. And I thought summaries are necessary. What is your take on that?
So are you referring to like their part where it says objectives or like
the summary, the introduction, the few lines on the top, the summary.
You mean up here, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So mostly those can be the objectives or, like whatever name that you give to it, summaries, that's fine. But it's important.
Okay.
Yes, it's important because this is where you actually get to, it's kind of a mini cover letter, right?
Yeah.
So you get to say a little bit about yourself here. And also for everybody, we will talk about cover letters. What is going to help you also aside the resume is cover letters, right? Because that gives you a space to say more stuff that you couldn't put on your resume. So, but yes, this is important. She's probably saying it's not important because she's using this type.
Yes, yes. That's what she had.
She's using chronological
summary.
Yeah, chronological resume. So she will say this is the best style, is not important, but there are different styles and there's a combination of both. So the summary is important, right? Because it'll help you to introduce yourself and also say something about what you've done and what you can do. So yes, I'll say it is important.
All right, thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Okay, Doc, you read my mind. You knew what my question was going to be. So you touched on it briefly, but I'm going to go ahead and put you on the carpet. What are your thoughts on a cover letter?
Yeah, so in today's age, cover letters, they will set you apart from everybody else. Most people are getting lazy. They just do their resume and then that's it. When they apply to the job or for whatever job, they will just submit cover letter. They will just submit their resume with no cover letters. Even for jobs that require you to have cover letters, people will still not submit the cover letters, right? So mostly, I've talked to a handful of hiring managers who will say that sometimes how they do the shortlisting is people who have cover letters, they will probably if 100 people apply, maybe 3 or 5 will have cover letters. They will pick those people because they went the extra mile, right? So cover letters, everybody should have one, right? If there is a space for you to upload your cover letter, please do. Even if there is not, and there's a space for you to upload additional any documentation that you wish to, please do upload it because it speaks well and it also shows that you go above and beyond, right? And attitude plays a key role in this. You can be the most, technical person, spot on, but if you have really bad attitude, nobody wants to work with you. If you don't go the extra mile, you do the bare minimum, I don't think anybody will want you in their company. Yes, you can, go do your own thing with your awesome technical skills and knowledge, right? But yes, so cover letters, I'll say everybody should have a cover letter, right? And next week we'll probably touch on cover letters as well.
Thank you, Dr. Du.
Yeah, you're welcome. Go ahead, Lumen.
Oh yeah, Dr. Du. I was just gonna add to one of our friend that asked a question about the experience, and I just want to add to that if you take the Dr. Du class, there is I don't know, I think it was module 5 that taught based on hands-on training, and guys, you're gonna love it. I don't know, he knows me, I love that part. It's really good and intense, and after finishing it, you feel like you know something, you can do something. So when you go on a job or maybe on interview, you can just speak to that. You don't need. And then remember, after taking that class, you're gonna be automatically entitled to the internship. And again, every process within a company or a real life, you're gonna go through the same process. You're gonna learn about so much. So I just want to add that to you. So in case you are wondering, how you're gonna go about it, because the same thing goes to my interview. Everything that I've learned in the internship and on a class, those are the things that I just said. Nothing, I've not said anything else. Just want to add to. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lumen. So Lumen is one of our entry-level students. He landed his 6-figure cybersecurity job, so that is why he's speaking to that. Now, what Lumen was saying, maybe if his volume wasn't coming up well, as part of the entry-level course, we have a hands-on training session where you get to work with the cybersecurity tools that you are going to encounter on the job. So for whoever was asking, what experience am I going to get, or like what do I put on there on my resume? What do I put on there to be able to speak to it? Now we walk you through, and we will walk you through to set up your own cybersecurity lab. So in terms of using tools like Splunk, Nexus, and the rest, you're actually going to use it, right? So putting that on your resume, you've actually done it. You just didn't read it somewhere. You've actually done it, right? And that is also going to give you that confidence. It's something you've done, so you can defend it anywhere, right? And for us, we even put an extra hurdle in front of, or an extra mountain or like pieces of obstacles along the way. The tools are not already pre-configured or installed for you to use. You have to install these tools yourself and configure them and then use them, right? On the job, you are only going to use them because they are already installed, right? So that gives you that extra boost. Although sometimes some students will spend days trying to have it work and to figure it out. But that is all part of the building process, and that builds your confidence as well. So even if you have to use another SIM tool aside Splunk, your confidence is high. You can use it because you've actually used one that is similar to it. So that is what Lumen was speaking to. And then also for the internship, you are going to be paired with one of our sister companies and you work on cybersecurity projects. So everything that you are going to work on, you work on almost 10 different big cybersecurity projects. So you can speak to it anywhere, right? And when you put that on a resume, you've actually done it. So your skills or your working experience in cybersecurity doesn't have to be a paid working experience. Because, example, if you know how to use Excel, Excel is one of the very big tools in cybersecurity that most folks don't even know, right? If you know how to use Excel, do you have to use it in cybersecurity for you to say, I can use Excel or I know how to use it? Maybe probably in your previous work, that is all that you used. And you are, a pretty solid Excel guy or girl, right? So because you've used it outside cybersecurity, or you are not getting paid to use it in a cybersecurity setting, that doesn't mean you have not used it or you don't know how to use it. So all those are also part of, some of how you can go about this whole I don't have any experience syndrome, right? If I want to put it that way. Go ahead, Charles, and then Tesha, then we'll go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So going back to the cover letter, mostly what I do is when I apply for jobs and they ask for cover letter, I just quickly go to AI, quickly draft up one and edit it. I'll edit it and before I send it out. So he said something about recruiters or companies choosing. I've submitted a lot of cover letters and I don't get called or I don't get picked. So is it that they know that this particular write-up is from AI, but you know if it's human or if it's AI? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. I totally understand you, Charles. And I'll answer your question as we are moving along. Right. So if you're not getting calls, I will show you why you are not getting calls.
Okay. So secondly, I think you talked about there's something else you talked about that I just keep on my mind right now. Okay, but on my resume, I have if you go back to the resume slide, please. Can you go back to the resume slide? Let me show you something. Okay, so yeah, so on my resume, I have summary and I have competency skills, which I broke down to soft skills, hard skills. So I differentiated them, my hard skills and my soft skills, then followed by my experiences. So what you think about that is that, so what does this kind of resume falls into? Is it a hybrid or the other ones you talked about?
So like, do you have everything else on here?
Yes. Apart from the summary, I have the skills, which I said skills and soft skills. And I broke it down. I broke my hard skills down, and I also broke my soft skills down. Then I moved on to experiences and other things followed. What kind of resume would you call
that? So I think like that will still be hybrid because you are adding everything else from both resumes. So I'll say that is hybrid.
Okay. So the first question, the cover letter.
Like the first question, we will cover that as we are moving along. Tisha, go ahead. Tisha. if I got that right. You are muted.
Tisha's gone, Doc.
Okay. All right. Okay. Uchuba, go ahead, and then we'll move on.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Doc, my question is that, like, if like experience now, seen experience in the resume, like if somebody who have never worked in any company, like to have experience and how we're going to do the experience and the company that we're going to put in the resume.
Or if you've not worked anywhere and you want to get into cybersecurity, come join Eretmis internship. You get a company to work for. Like that is going to be frankly, like that will be the only answer that I'm going to have. Because like, what are you going to put on there if you've not worked anywhere? Right. But for us, you get to work with one of our sister companies. That will count towards your experience. So hopefully that helps.
Doc, we couldn't hear because somebody's talking. Can you mute them?
Yes. I just muted. I think it's from Uchuba. Tisha, go ahead. Please unmute yourself. I think, I'm not sure if maybe Tisha is having problems with her audio. So we are going to move forward. Sorry about the interruptions in there, but I think it's all part of the discussion. So what template is best for you? We discussed that already. Where to get the best or where to get the best templates, knowing the right template to use, which obviously now we've settled on hybrid. And with hybrid, with targeted resume, you cannot just prepare your targeted resume before you actually see the job description, right? So that is why that is not part of the traditional types of or styles of resume. Now we will talk about the targeted resume when we talk about keywords, right? So the templates, where to get the best templates for our students, we provide them templates, and then we will show you how to beef up the template and build it up to where you can use it for almost all certain types of job descriptions, job roles, right? Because almost all job roles, they have some key underlying skill set that you're looking for, right? So if you build your resume for maybe a cybersecurity job, cybersecurity analyst focusing mostly on managerial leadership side, that is going to be one form of resume that you're going to use. You're going to use one that is also very technical. So you have to know the job market also as well, right? For your resume to be functional, to be effective. And we'll discuss that also as well. Tisha, go ahead. I'm not sure if you're having problems with your audio, but if you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Because your hand is still up. So that is why I was asking. Or we're just gonna move on. So you can please type your question in the chat if you're unable to speak. Right. So now let's move on to. We'll move on to keywords. Right. So these are some of the areas that you can get templates, resume templates, Canva. Now there is a lot of AI websites out there. So it's just a matter of you Googling, resume templates. But for cybersecurity, there are some templates out there that are not so good, right? But next week, we are going to actually build our own templates, right? And I'll show you how. And that is going to be a really good template for whatever job role that we choose. Because guess where we are going to get what we have to put on there in terms of things that we've done. Now we are going to pick things that we've done, but some keywords, we are going to pick all those from job postings themselves, right? So, and that will, answer the question of what we are going to be discussing right after here. Now, one thing that I also want us to look at is how long should be your resume? Is it 3 pages, 2 pages, 4 pages? Anybody have any take on that? How long normally should a resume be?
No more than 2.
Yes, right on the money. Right on the money. So mostly at least 2. Right? If you can have 1 pager, is good, but because of the skills that you're going to put on there and all that, and it has to be in, a really nice way. So mostly you end up with 2. 2 is, don't confuse resumes for CVs. So your CV is a different, thing from a resume. A resume is a summary of everything that you've ever done in your life, right? That is relevant to the job you're applying to. Now, a CV covers everything, your school, publications. So mostly that is used for professors, right? And, teachers and instructors and other areas, other jobs that will require you to show publications. And so your CV can be like 6 pages, 7 pages. Your resume's time with a hiring manager is like the time, screen time with a hiring manager is probably less than 2 minutes. Right, less than 2 minutes. So nobody has time to go through 6 pages of resume, right, or 5 pages. So you have to make sure the 2 pages count, everything that you want to put on there. That is why the summary, I don't remember who was asking about the summary, but that is very important. And you have to make sure you are making good use of real estate. So every space on there is real estate, right? You have to make good use of it. So it's good to put summary or like your career objectives, but don't put fluff, right? Make sure you go straight to the point. You are putting what is relevant to the job you're applying to on there, right? So don't just add fluff. I mean, it's not going to get you anywhere because mostly they will look at the top and then the middle portion of your resume and then maybe probably the bottom, and then that's it, right? So make sure everything counts, is going to catch the attention, right? Now, at least the golden standard, 1 to 2 pages, and you should just keep it at that. Now, that now goes into the question of how far back should I go in my career? Now, for folks who are trying to switch careers into cybersecurity, you are coming in with soft skills, you've done some training, you've done some internship. The jobs that you're applying, the jobs that you are looking for, right? If you are trying to switch careers, please don't be applying for cybersecurity jobs that require 12 years of experience, 10 years of experience. Now, you can apply to those just to see what they say during those interviews. If you are lucky and you get an interview on those ones, just for learning processes, but frankly, not to even get a job. Because when you do get a job, I don't think you can do it, right? So anything if you are switching careers into cybersecurity, anything from 0 to 5 years, if you had a good training, some good hands-on, you can do it. Because guess what? The experience they are looking for 0 to 5 years, most of your soft skills will probably even make up 3 years of that. And then the 2 years will be your technical skills, right? So you can apply, feel free to apply anything, 0 to 5 years-ish, you can apply. Now, if you're applying for such a job, 5 years, 0 to 5 years, you're not going to go back as far back as 10 years, 15 years, right? Especially if you are not, even if you've been in IT, that goes to the question that I was asking. If you're applying for a job that requires you to have only a bachelor's degree and you have a bachelor's degree, 2 masters, and a PhD, are you going to list all of them on there? Obviously not, because now you look overqualified, right? And if you really want that job, you just put a bachelor's on there. They didn't ask about your master's. They didn't ask about your PhD. So why put it out there, right? So you put what is relevant to the job you're applying to, right? So now, if on your resume you're applying to a job, you are starting off a career in cybersecurity, your experience or length of experience that you are going to put on there, you are going to do a summary of your 20 years, 10 years, 9 years, 5 years of soft skills experience. You are going to summarize, or your transferable experience and skills, knowledge and skills. You are going to summarize them into 5 years. Then you are going to add your technical cybersecurity knowledge and skill to it. Right? So don't go beyond 5 years of experience if you are switching careers, right? Even if you've been in IT for 20 years, please don't go back as far as 20 years, because now your resume is going to be 7 pages long, and 2, most of the things you're putting on there will be irrelevant to the job you're applying to. So you have to make sure that you are not making it difficult for a hiring manager to understand what you are trying to do, right? Go ahead, Mr. Williams, and then we will move on into keywords.
Yes, Doc, I'll keep it moving. Doc, in a similar manner, as you shouldn't, if you're just getting into cybersecurity, apply for a job that requires 15 years of experience. To answer the concern of a lot of us who are like, we're just getting started. What do we put down for experience? What are we going to write for experience? Can I use the entry-level courses experience? There are a lot of jobs out there, guys, that are not asking for software development engineers with 5 or 6 years experience. They're not asking for software architects with 10 years experience. There are a lot of entry-level jobs. They're just asking for an analyst, and so don't be afraid to just go for, say, a lower level job if you don't have the experience, even though the entry level, as Doc said, does give us a lot of experience. The internship definitely, with us working on that risk register and all the other stuff that we did, we got a lot of experience from the entry level course, as well as the internship and the other classes that we're taking. So don't be worried about that. Just be, as he said, keep it reasonable. If you just get into the business or the industry, you want to apply for something that's low level, that's not asking for 100 years of.
Yes. And to add to what Mr. Williams was talking about, there are some jobs that require 0 to 1 year of experience. And those jobs are still 6-figure jobs, right? So if for those jobs, like, what are you going to put on there? Same thing, keep it reasonable. And like I'm saying, don't go apply for jobs that are asking for 15 years, because they're asking for 15 years for a reason, right? And mostly when employers are talking about experience, what exactly are they talking about, right? When you are in any industry and you get to know somebody who's been in the industry for this long, you assume they know certain things and they should do certain things certain ways, right? I remember, like, in the army, if you see a sergeant, the moment you see him wearing the rank of a sergeant, you assume he should know certain things and he should behave in a certain way, right? So now if he start behaving like a knucklehead, then you are doubting, who promoted this guy or girl, right? So when we talk about years of experience, that is how employers are able to evaluate your knowledge and skill you are bringing to the table. So if they say 5 years of experience, they expect that at 5 years of experience, you have this level of skill and knowledge, right? At 10 years, you have this level of skill and knowledge. At 15, you have this level of skill and knowledge. Now, mostly for the jobs that are requiring 15 years, 10 years, and those ones, right? Mostly those are mostly managerial leadership positions. and the ones that are managerial leadership together with maybe senior cybersecurity engineer and all that, they might have, you know, some other areas within security that you have to be very familiar with. So you have to be a strategic thinker when it comes to security at the C level, right? And if you are barely starting off, and I don't know what type of training that you have, even if you have some leadership managerial skills coming into the space, that is not a good place to begin, right? So please keep it reasonable, keep it to your comfort level, right? Because you don't want to be applying for jobs that they are just going to pass you over, or you don't want to go to interviews that you'll be struggling with, right? You always want to look like a rock star, which you are, right? So package yourself to a spot that is going to make you look like a rock star. Rainy, go ahead.
All right, Charles.
Okay, so what I was going to ask you is, are you going to go over what type of objective statements that we would need to put in there, especially someone who does not have any IT or cybersecurity experience at all and coming in from a different perspective?
Okay, yes. So what you're going to put on there, I think for this discussion, although we're going to go through the building one resume next week, we will look at a template, a very good template that we give to students to, you know, do the rewrite and then bring it back for evaluation. We will take a look at it briefly, and then I'll touch on certain things on there. But before we do, let's look at a very key part of your resume, right? And for most folks who are not getting any hits, you are applying, nobody's calling you back. You are just, you know, getting emails saying they are moving forward with somebody else. This is the answer right here. Keywords. You are not using the right keywords. So although you might have a cover letter for all applications, the cover letter is good, but the cover letter will become a differentiator if your resume is good. If your resume is no good in terms of keywords, then your cover letter, although good, makes you look good, is not really going to be the one that is going to get you the interview. Right? So what do I mean by keywords? Now for every job that you're applying to, you know, in the job description, they listed things that they will have you do. So mostly they will start talking about the company, and then the next session is going to be what you will do or what you are going to do on the job. And they will list everything that you are going to be doing. And then the next session is going to be the skill sets that they are looking for. And they will list the skill sets, including your transferable skills, soft skills, and then technical cybersecurity skills, right? Now, keywords matters because in most applications that you are going to do, all the application, like all the resumes are going to go through an automated system. And it's the automated system that will shortlist resumes with the right keywords before a human being looks at it, right? So if you have your resume already, you didn't tailor your resume, and you have your resume pre-made or like prepared, you know, beforehand, which you should, and you are not changing anything, you are just submitting it. If the automated system, what it does is it will scan your whole resume for keywords. If it doesn't pick the right, like the keywords it is looking for, they are not going to shortlist you, right? So an example, if in the job description it says, okay, what you are going to do, you are going to be responsible for handling incident response, and also you are going to be responsible for conducting vulnerability scans. Now, keywords here: incident response, vulnerability scans. If on your resume you have also written something to this effect so let's say you like two of your bullets, you are talking about I'm skilled in identifying weaknesses in organizational infrastructure. Weaknesses here is vulnerabilities, right? But you didn't use the word vulnerability, so you missed the key word there. Now, when the automated system is scanning your resume, they don't know that vulnerabilities are the same as weaknesses. So they are just going to pass you by. They are looking for vulnerabilities, nothing else, nothing. I mean, they are not going to take any substitute for it, right? And it's not a human being to see, okay, I mean, he's talking about vulnerabilities. So they will skip you. Incident response, you're also talking about, you are very familiar with how to handle issues that occur within the organization or breaches that occur within the keyword there is incident response. So if you try to explain things in your own words, or you are using different like you are even using different terms, you are not going to get hits. So it could be that your resume is good, when you look at it, it's good, it covers everything that you've done. But if you are not using the right keywords as it pertains to the job you're applying for, then obviously the automated system is going to pass you by, right? So that is the reason why most folks wouldn't get any hits, right? So if you have the keywords from the job description, so if on your resume, you've done your resume, to tailor your resume to the job that you're applying to, you have to make sure that you are incorporating keywords from that job description. Now, if for resumes, we're also going to talk about this. If you are applying to cybersecurity jobs, you should have like 3 different types of resumes, not the style, right? Aside the style, you are going to build one main resume that you are going to be using, right? For maybe you are looking for any job on the blue side, so security analyst, risk analyst, name it, GRC specialist. Now, all jobs on GRC specialist, they all come with certain keywords. So if you do your research, you go online, go to all these job boards, look for GRC specialist jobs, pick like maybe 5 or 6 from different companies or different postings, go through and identify common keywords that they are using and common things that they want you to do within, those job titles. Pick those keywords, put it, now you have to make sure you have like the resume that you have. Don't be editing the same resume. So have the original copy, make a copy. Now you'll be incorporating the keywords from maybe, let's say, GRC specialist jobs that you are looking for. Incorporate all those keywords, and you see like the common keywords or the common things that they want you to be doing in that job. Pick those and add them to your resume, right? Now, what we are doing here, you are beefing your resume. Now, you can do that for maybe all GRC. So you can do that for GRC. That might be your GRC resume. So now, if you're applying to every GRC job that you see with that resume, it has almost all the keywords because you've done your research. You've identified almost all the keywords. You've incorporated that already. So even if you are doing one-click applications where you are not actually tailoring your resume, you are still getting a lot of hits because you have most of the keywords in there. Now, if you are doing tailored, application, then you have to look at every single job you're applying to and tailor it, by identifying keywords and incorporating keywords within your resume, right? So if you are just using one plain resume and applying to any and every job and you don't get hits, that is the reason, right? If you follow what I'm telling you today and you don't get any hits, I'll give you $100. And you have to prove to me that you actually followed exactly what I told you, right? So, and then also I said you should have 3 different types of resumes. So your original resume is going to be your main resume, like your mother resume, that is going to remain unedited. You just make copies, 3 copies of it. Now, if you are looking for cybersecurity jobs that are more leadership, managerial friendly, you may be cybersecurity manager, cybersecurity analyst with a managerial twist to it. You can make a resume that is 60% soft skills heavy, 40% technical skills heavy. So And to do that, you should have, gone through the job postings that they have out there and look at jobs that are heavy on soft skills. But for you to even do that is not that difficult. Just look at the job description. Go down to the skills that you're looking for. If they are listing 10 skills and 6 of it is soft skills, obviously it is heavy on soft skills, right? So now you pick those ones, those skill set that you're looking for. So in the skills that you're looking for, you have keywords also in there. Make sure you are integrating that also into your resume. So you can have one leadership managerial heavy resume. You can have one that is technical heavy. So purely cybersecurity technical is like 60%, 70% technical, and maybe 30% soft skills heavy, right? So you can have those categories. So categories of not even 3, at least 4 or 5 categories. So when you see the job description, you know which one you are going to use to apply. Now, if you have done this hard work, this background work already, when you have to tailor your resume, it becomes easier because most of the things you are going to put on there are already on there. So it's just a matter of adding exactly for that job, extra things on there that you don't have, right? So applying to cybersecurity or like applying for cybersecurity jobs and landing your 6 figures is not as complicated, but you have to do some legwork, right? There is no secret or easy shortcut way to it. The shortcut is what I've shown you. If you are incorporating keywords, and this is not just to cybersecurity, all jobs in all other industries, keywords are very important. If you are not using keywords, then you might as well not even apply, right? So I hope that answers. I don't remember who asked that question, but hopefully that answers your question. Okay. So now references. Are you going to need references on your resume? The resumes are supposed to be what? At most 2 pages, right? So at one, at least, or at most, how we want to put it, 2 pages. So references mostly are not going to fit on your resume. And references are not necessarily, shouldn't be part of your resume. References are more for CVs, right? So if the company wishes to get a reference, they will let you know and send you a link for you to list your references, right? And for what I'll say about references, please, for whoever you are putting on there for a reference from your previous job, make sure you contact that person way ahead of time. So you don't want them to be calling the person and, yeah, we are speaking from this company. We want to know about John. John used to work with you, and they are going to ask, who is John, right? Because whoever is calling to ask about you, they don't know you that well to be able to explain who you are to that. All they can say is, hey, he applied to a company. And the person on the other side as a reference will say, I don't know any John, right? That is the last thing you want to do, putting somebody's number on there and their name and everything, and them not even, like, them not being able to speak to your knowledge and skill that you have. Now, also, you are coming from a different industry. I mean, who do you put on there to speak to your, so whoever you are putting on there, they are not only going to speak to your technical cybersecurity knowledge and skills, they're also going to speak to your soft skills, right? So if you're a good leader, you're a good manager, call that person, let them know, hey, we are going to call you, switching to cybersecurity or whichever field. These are what they are looking for in terms of soft skills. So you can speak to, how I manage a team here, how I did it, how I did this, how I did that, right? Now for your technical cybersecurity, you can have somebody, if you went through a training, right? You did the internship like our students do. You can at least maybe have one of your colleagues who witness your abilities, right? Or somebody from the companies that you did your internship with speak to that effect, right? So that is what I'll say when it comes to references, right? Now, next week, we are actually going to walk through building the actual resume and also keywords, identifying keywords and putting keywords on our resume and making sure our our resumes are going to get the hits that we are looking for. Now, the July 4th sales is still going on until, I think we have 3 days to go. So 30% off on all our courses. So for folks who are looking to join our training, you can do so by taking advantage of that. And we are going to speak a little bit about our courses that we offer for everybody on here. If you've not taken our Cybersecurity for Beginners free course, please do. It's going to be a good eye-opener into the industry. Even if you've been in the industry or you've done training elsewhere, you are going to learn something new from Cybersecurity for Beginners, right? It's a 2-hour, 3-hour video lessons that you're going to go through. And for folks who are looking to switch careers to cybersecurity, I encourage our cybersecurity entry-level course for you. It is, I'll say, one of the best ways, or if not the best way, that you can use to get into the industry. It comes with 2 months of internship. It comes with hands-on training where we walk you through how to build some of the, use some of the popular cybersecurity tools that you encounter on the job. So all that is going to count towards your experience in cybersecurity, right? So you don't have to put stuff that you've not done or that you don't know about on there. And then also for folks who have gone through training elsewhere or done self-study, you can also join our internship. For you, is going to be a workshop also as well. So if you are looking to switch careers, this is going to be a best option for you. And then also for folks who are already in the industry, if you are looking to, maybe take CISSP, other certification courses, we have all those also in our catalog. And then for folks who are trying to specialize in a specialized area of cybersecurity like PCI DSS, we have our PCI DSS expert and specialist training that you can also take, and that also comes with internship and hands-on. So internship and hands-on training as well that you are going to go through. Rainy, please go ahead.
Yeah, can you send me the link? I didn't get a link for this. The Cybersecurity for Beginners or the other one. Okay. Thank you.
So yes, you are welcome. The link is going to be posted in there, so you are going to have the link. Now, I'm not sure if Tesha will be able to speak now. First, you're having problems with your audio, so please go ahead. Okay, Abu, you can go ahead. I think Tesha is having an issue.
Dr. Adu, I signed up for the CompTIA Security Plus class. Mm-hmm. Am I eligible for internship?
So mostly the CompTIA Security Plus doesn't come with the internship. The CompTIA Security Plus, all our certification courses focus on just passing the certification exam. So, but with the CompTIA, with the Security Plus, you can top up to do the entry-level course, and then you get the internship. I think doing just the Security Plus and switching to the internship, in terms of cost, is going to be even more if you would have done just the entry-level, which comes with the internship, the hands-on, right, and then taking you through the concepts and the theories from beginning to intermediate level in cybersecurity, right? But we can talk offline about that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the link is going to be posted in here, but before we do, we are going to look at an example of one of the templates that we use for our students real quick. And as we are pulling that up, if you have any questions, you can please bring it up. I know there are some questions in the chat. If you had questions in the chat, you can bring it up for us to discuss.
Good afternoon, Doctor. This is Titi. How are you?
I'm great, Titi.
My quick question is, please, how many references can we get when we're applying for a job, like a reasonable sum?
So resume references, mostly they will ask for 3.
Okay.
Yes. So right. Just like how you have like the interviews, mostly you go through 3 interviews, right? One will be soft skills, one will be technical, one will be a mixture of both. So I will go on the same lines for when you are looking for references, right? One will be somebody who can speak to your technical skills and knowledge. One will be somebody who can speak to your soft skills, and then one might be a combination of both. So for our resume, this is a template from the template that we normally give to students. This is not all of it. I think somebody edited this one, but mostly it will look something like this, right? There's a different variants of it, but then your skills, we are going to list your skills here. So it can be a combination of soft skills and your technical skills as well. So you see CIS compliance or CIS controls version 8. You are skilled in risk mitigation strategies, data security. And all these are part of the keywords, right? You can pick these from the job description and also the skills they are looking for in the job post, right? And put them on here. So if you are beefing this up with a lot of like the same similar job descriptions from similar job titles, this is going to be a very good resume. And then when you come down here, all this, so you're wherever you worked, and then you are going to list the things you did. Now, these is what I'm talking about, right? And I think somebody was asking, where do you find these bullets to put on there? Now, for our students, we give them templates, and the templates, everything that we have on here are things that you are going to do in the internship that we offer, right? So they are not things that you are just copying and pasting from somewhere. And you can actually speak to all of these when you have to speak to it. And two, you are not going to be caught off guard if they ask you about any of these because you've actually done them. Right? So an example here is using CIS controls to help maybe do an assessment of a security posture or, do IT or cybersecurity auditing. You've used it, right? One of the frameworks that we use for the internship. And then, so the list goes down and then down here, education, mostly we encourage you to put anything, diploma and up, right? Training or boot camps that you go to, not really necessary to put all of them on here, right? And then when it comes to certifications, this is also one place that a lot of people struggle. I don't have any certifications. Do I put them on there? Or, like what do I really put on here? So if you have just Security Plus or you don't have any certification, you still have to put certifications on here. Now there's a trick to this. If I don't have Security Plus, I don't have CISSP, I can put Security Plus and CISSP, but I'm not going to put them on there and say I have it. I'm going to put in progress in front of it. And in progress, you might be thinking, but in progress means you are working on it, right? In the industry, you want to portray that attitude of you are somebody who is continuously developing themselves, right? So if you put in progress, it means I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You are not saying you have it. You are not lying and saying you have it. You are working on it. So because this counts, during most interviews, they will ask you, so let's say in the skill set that you're looking for, they listed that they want somebody with CISSP and CISA. You can list CISSP and CISA here and write in front of it in progress. Now, guess what? During the interview, they are going to ask you, when do you intend to get CISSP, or you have it on here, you are working on it. When are you going to get it, right? So if you didn't put it on there, guess what? They are not going to ask you anything on it because they know you don't have it. But although you put it in here, you don't still have it. Why are they asking you something about it? You guys get that piece. So it's like if you go to the shop and you want to buy a shoe and the shoe is $49.99. Is it $50 or is it $40? That is the trick we are using here. You are not lying, and you are not saying you have something you don't have. But then you are letting them know you are continuously improving yourself. So you are now working on something, right? So same thing. There are a lot of tricks. We are not going to give all of it away today. We will actually go through and build a resume next week. So everybody who is on here, if you show up next week, we are going to show you how to go about building a resume that is, going to get a lot of hits and get you a lot of interviews. So before we wrap up, I think I'm just going in there. We are going to post in here the free course for everybody on here to be able to. You have to enroll in the Cybersecurity for Beginners. And then also we have PCI for Beginners that you can also look at if you're looking to get into the industry. Any questions before we wrap it up? I think Amos, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Du. About the certifications. Let's say somebody do some online training certification from from Qualys, from the Qualys website. Can I put them on there?
No.
Okay.
So they are actually looking for certifications, industry recognized certifications, right? So actual certifications that you paid money to write the exam, right? So all those ones that are like the random ones from Qualys and all those places, that is not what they are looking for. So when we say certifications, they are looking for your CISSP, your Security Plus, your CISA, right? The mainstream certifications. So if you did a course on like a Coursera, don't put that on there. Right.
But can I put that like in like part of my resume, like the bullet point?
So the knowledge and skills that you got from those training is what you're going to put like in your resume, not the certificate that you got from Coursera and Udemy and no, not those.
Got it.
Yeah, those ones are just fluff. It doesn't carry any weight and it's just occupying space, right? And it makes you like, it makes them know that you don't know the industry. You see what I mean? So because anybody in the industry who knows what is going on is not going to put, I have a risk management certificate from Coursera. I have PCI certificate from Udemy, right? So even for mainstream training that you did, if you did maybe 5 months of training with Eretmis, it's not the training that you're going to put in the education side. It's going to be the skills and knowledge you gain that you're going to put on there. If you did internship with Eretmis, you're going to put the knowledge and skills. Okay, I did this, I worked on this project, I worked on that. That is what they're actually looking for. Not to list mini courses and short courses that you did all over the place. That really doesn't count. What really counts is the knowledge and skill that you are bringing to the table. And those courses that you're talking about, it afforded you the knowledge and skills that they are looking for. So you have to package or showcase your knowledge and skills well. That way they'll see that. Not the bad. When it comes to certification, they are looking for industry, traditional industry certifications like Security Plus, Security Analyst, Pentest Plus, Ethical Hacker, Certified Ethical Hacker. They are looking for those ones. CISSP, CISA, and likes. All right, Chibu, please go ahead.
Hello, me?
Ochibua.
Yeah, my question, Doc, is that if you have this certification like CISA Security Plus or Cyber Security Analysis Plus, you are going to put them in progress. You're not going to tell them that you have it.
No, if you have it, you say you have it. So maybe you didn't get that piece. If you have it, like you boldly put them on there, you have it.
Okay.
I'm saying, so you are getting into the industry, you've done with your training and internship and all that, but you don't have the certifications. So under certifications, don't leave it blank, because although is not going to be what is necessarily going to get you the job, and whether you have it or not, where if you have it, it looks good. If you don't, it's not really going to take anything away from you if you can speak to the fact that you have the knowledge and skills to do the job. But to make you competitive and also to make you look good without lying, you put it on there and put in progress on. Maybe you are working on it, right? You just don't have it by the time you're going to the interview. So I've seen a lot of students go to interviews and they ask them, when are you going to get it? Right? When are you going to get this certification that you have on here as in progress?
Okay.
That goes to show you that in progress carries weight, not as equal as somebody who has it, but at least that also gives you a different twist. You are somebody who is continuously improving yourself. But if you have it, I mean, why say in progress? You have it.
So, Doc, if you have it, you put it, you have it. You include it. Thank you.
But let's say I have only Security Plus, I'll put CISSP and also say in progress, I'm working on.
Okay, but if you have all those certifications, you need to put them that you have it.
Yeah, if you have it, you put them on there. Yes, you have to put them on there, right? Now, if you choose not to put them on there, like that is your own preference. But and also make sure that the certificates that you have, at least you have the knowledge and skill to back them up.
Okay.
Yes. So there is this thing going around. Probably some of you are not aware, but when certifications were, and even still with like CompTIA, they allow you to write some of like their certifications online, right? CISSP tried it. I mean, every year they do it like a pilot program. They will have people write it online, but there are people who have mastered in cheating the system. So they are people who pay to get certifications written for them. If you are one of those, you are wasting your money and your time, because having the certificate is not, or like having the certification is not going to do anything if you don't have the knowledge and skill to back it up. It's like if I made somebody go write a nursing exam for me and I have a nursing degree or a nursing like certificate, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. If I go to interviews, they are going to ask me nursing questions and how I'll be able to help patients, and I have no clue. Right. So I know folks who've been doing that. We actually had one student who went that tangent, but I think like she didn't even complete, like she started the course. First 2 days, that's it. She abandoned the course. And then down the line, like a month and a half later, she came around with, hey, can somebody help me with my resume? And on the resume, she had CISA, she had Security Plus, Security Analyst. I'm like, wow, you really did all this in a month without knowing a thing in cyber. Oh yeah. And I'm going to have, no, I think she didn't have CISA by then. Yeah, I'm going to have CISA by Monday. What? What are you talking about? But at that point, I knew what she was doing. And guess what? She has not gotten a job, and I don't think she's even close to getting a job anywhere. But she has no clue what is going on. She doesn't understand. And people are just things, and people took her money and they were writing the exams for her. How they actually go about writing the exams and doing it, don't really know, and I don't care to know. But if anybody's approaching you anywhere, and on LinkedIn, I think it was Captain AJ who did some small investigation, and he chanced on some of the people who were doing that on LinkedIn. Like they will approach you and, hey, if you want to pass CISSP, we have somebody who can help you out. And then if you dig into it, they are writing the exams for you and collecting money. I think like Captain AJ even went to the extent he was asking them, hey, so how much is it going to cost me to get PMP? I think PMP was almost $2,500. And then CISSP was like 3,000 or something. Why waste your time, right? You are just wasting your time and your money. So I'll advise everybody, don't go that route. It's not worth your time and your money. It's for people who are very naive about the industry, who will think by just having the certification, nobody's going to ask you anything. They're just going to give you the job. And let's assume they even do. If they just give you the job, what are you really going to do on the job? Right? So at the end of the day, you are going to work. So you have to make sure you have the knowledge and skills and the tools to be able to do the work. Either than that, even if they give you the work with no interview, with nothing, they're going to fire you the very next day. So on that note, we are going to wrap it up. And I appreciate everybody's help, everybody's contribution. to this discussion, a very meaningful discussion, and also what we started with trains and trains getting hacked or getting breached. Everybody else who contributed to it, I appreciate your good insight. We are wrapping up. We are going to meet again, God willing, next week. And as I say always, have a blessed weekend and be safe. And you could have been anywhere, but you stayed with us for almost 2 hours for tonight's cyber chat. I appreciate everybody's time. And for during the week, all classes are still going to be going on for our students. And for all folks who are trying to switch into cybersecurity, please do not hesitate. Our 30% is going away in 3 days. So we appreciate everybody's time. Have a great weekend. If you need help on any of these, you can always reach back out and we are going to help you accordingly. Now, our contacts are going to be posted in here, so you can always reach out if you need help with anything, right? Or you can simply go to Eretmis Academy's website and you will be able to book an appointment to talk to us, right? Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.